Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Foodeshow Food Community Talks. Today with us, we have an impressive entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, I might add, Ismael Belkhayat from Morocco. Hello, Ismael.
Hello, thanks for having me with you guys.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. So, first, we would like to know you more. So, tell us more about you.
Yes, so I am a Moroccan tech entrepreneur. I started about 7 years ago a startup studio called Weeb.co, in which we've launched successfully many ventures, including a real estate portal, a Uber-like platform, many press websites, and more recently, the company we will be talking about today, which is a B2B e-commerce platform.
Great.
I am born and raised in Morocco, Western educated. I went to Kona University, and then after my degree, I worked for the Boston Consulting Group, first in Paris, and then I moved to Casablanca.
Great. So, you were a consultant at a certain point. So, you know exactly the process is about getting into entrepreneurship, right?
Yes, actually, being a great consultant doesn't necessarily mean becoming a great entrepreneur. In a sense that when you work with a company such as BCG or McKinsey, they do teach you how to reach perfection. You know, your clients are waiting from the consultant to be really precise and perfect on whatever he does or she does. However, the day you become an entrepreneur, you have to work fast, do a lot of mistakes, and keep learning out of your mistakes. So being perfect is not necessarily a good quality that an entrepreneur should have. However, obviously, the expertise brought by a consultant is obviously to know better the processes and to be more precise on the processes. And this is something that really helped me on my entrepreneurship life.
That is great. So I note that being perfect is not a good quality for entrepreneurs, and um, I thank you for saying that, because if you look for perfection, you miss out on a lot of business development, and that is great advice. So after Cornell University, after going to Paris, after coming back to Casablanca, did you start right away with the Web.co, or did you do other stuff?
No, again, I started right away, mainly because an entrepreneur doesn't have the time to be perfect. I am those who believe on the lean startup way of doing business, in a sense that you have to come up with any idea that is not necessarily well defined, but at least with a minimum viable product that you test on a market to find out if there is any opportunity on the market. You know, usually consultants take time right after they quit their job. They take around 6 months to do their analysis, their business plans, their studies on what to do, on how to do things, and they come from this school in which you have to prepare everything. Myself, I quit and I immediately started my business without even knowing in details what was the size of my market, mainly because I wanted to try, to test, to fail, and learn. And obviously, when you look at the startup studio, you will find out that there are many companies that are today in a cemetery of our entrepreneurship history. But out of the 30 that we've started, maybe 15 are today dead, but another 15 are today doing okay in the market. So yes, we started immediately after the experience.
I think it's impressive to have the 50-50, especially if you're going in with a trial. 50-50 is a great number, because a lot of, even with analysis, even with processes, even with business plan, a lot of companies cannot hold very long. The mortality rate is increasing because the whatever you based on is changing. The global economy is connected and it's changing all the time.
True, and let me tell you the reason why we think that we have succeeded in having such a good ratio of 50-50. There are two main reasons. The first reason about it, and let's be honest about the fact that we are based in Morocco and that Morocco doesn't necessarily have the right ecosystem to do a lot of innovation. Obviously, we do have great human resources, but really, it's really difficult to get access to financing. It's really difficult to get access to the latest tools. So again, being an innovator in Morocco is quite difficult. So we have decided as a startup studio to follow a path that is basically analyzing what is doing really well in more developed countries such as Southern Europe, and try to copy paste with some adaptation what is working there in Morocco. So the first reason why we believe we have succeeded in that business is mainly because we have taken proven business models that we have imported to Morocco by adding some adaptation, and sometimes the innovation is coming from the adaptation. And we've started running the businesses here in Morocco. So it was easier for us to succeed because we had models to copy and we saw how it was done in other places, and we try to do the same. This is the first reason. And the second reason is also due to the fact that back at that time, it was the beginning of the cloud, and we went to see Google and we asked Google if we could become a Google Suite reseller here in Morocco. Back at that time, the name was Google Apps. So we were one of the first Google Apps reseller in Morocco, and thanks to that, we were the first one. So we could obviously sign a lot of clients and have a lot of subscribers and sell a lot of licenses. And the beauty of the business model is that it's a recurring model. So we had a monthly recurring revenue that were bringing to the startup studio let's say the revenue that was enough to invest on other small startups. So we could basically have a kind of back office in which we were having all the people needed to develop the other startups. So basically, the other startups were at the beginning subsidized by this activity of Google reselling, and we could subsidize them for the necessary period to have them take off and fly with their own wings, as we say. So I think these are the two main reasons why we believe that we have a good ratio of 50-50.
That is actually a good business model because, we didn't, like you said, you had one company that was making money that is subsidizing other companies and giving them a chance, because access to finance is a big problem, more in Morocco and other countries than in US, for instance. So usually the banks follow whoever has the most money and not the least money, right?
True, and especially in countries such as Morocco, in more developed countries, you will have an ecosystem of venture capitalist business angels who understand the mindset of financing a company that is burning cash but creating more value. So if you go see someone and explain that basically you lose money at the end of the day, but you will end up breaking even and then make money, they will back you up. However, in Morocco, whenever you go see a business angel, it's either he will tell you, come back to see me once you get to break even, or he will tell you, okay, I will accept to go with you in the adventure, but then I will ask you to give me at least 50% of your company. So given the fact that in addition to what I have just said, there is also another issue, which is the size of the market, which is usually small when it comes to the tech company business I am running. It was really difficult to basically make your way out with one single business, mainly because you have, no matter what, to have high costs when it comes to your back office, mainly because of developers that you have to pay well in order to get the best of them. And the only way you could succeed in that business is by having basically many ventures mutualizing the same back office. So, for example, let's take our Uber-like activity. The developers behind are the same ones that are also developing the e-commerce platform, for instance.
That is great. Mutualizing, like you said, resources is very important. Sometimes it's very costly to just work on a one project and develop skills and train people and finally let them out because you don't need them anymore. It's interesting to keep the continuity, and I do agree with that because we're running different businesses and we value actually the time that we invest in our human resources, and we would like to keep innovating and finding new projects for them to stay with us because that is very important for our productivity, for our future. We need our team. So thank you for mentioning that. I want to fast forward a little bit, and I know I want to go about the food business. And you are in a distribution and you have a new startup. So tell us about your new startup.
Yes, yes. So the startup is Sherry.co. It's basically, as I explained earlier, a B2B e-commerce platform. So let me just tell you how the idea again came to my mind. For those who are not from Morocco, you have to understand that the Moroccan market is a bit particular in a sense that about 80% of the FMCG consumption goes through localized small independent shops, moment shops that are traditional people who usually, whenever they buy whatever they need, they do it independently without going through a purchasing body. So, as every Moroccan, I go every day to my closest shop to whom I ask for my daily consumption. And sometime when I arrive, at the same time, there is a truck of an FMCG company coming and trying to sell to the store something. So the guy is usually running his shop by himself. It's a one-man show. It's usually a guy behind the counter. You go see him, you ask him for whatever you need. He gets you what you need and gives it to you. Based on that, he can't be multitask at the same time handling his client and at the same time handling his providers. So either the provider has to wait or the client has to wait. So when the provider waits too long, then he leaves, and the owner of the store can't get what he needs. And at the same time, if the client leaves, then there is an opportunity cost. So based on that, I realized that there is a real pain point on the situation. And given that also at some time of the day, the shop doesn't have any client and doesn't have any provider, and he's playing on his phone. So when I saw him playing on his phone, I thought, oh, maybe there is an opportunity. Bring a mobile app on the phone of every shop owner in Morocco and let him, with few clicks, order whatever he needs for his shop and receive the goods within a time frame of 12 hours. And this is something we've started in January 2020. Up to today, we have 8,000 clients who are using our application, a mobile app. And we do deliver something like between 1,000 and 1,500 orders per month per week in Casablanca for now, and we are looking to expand to other cities of Morocco.
So basically, you have digitalized, you use your tech background to be able to serve a very traditional sector, which is, and let me say, I have to put it, pisserie. So pisserie is the is the Moroccan word for épicerie in French, which means like the shop where you can get your day to day, like you said, product, and it has almost everything from food, fast moving consumer goods. You can even find specialty products there. And
Yeah.
so basically,
For the story, just for the story, the P3, we just bought p3.com because P3 is in fact the real name of the activity. So we just kept p3.com.
you got there first, so congratulations. I was gonna do it. So yeah, it is very interesting to see that now our friend will very they use their phones, like you said. Everybody in Morocco uses their phones, but if they're using their phone to consume information, and now they're using their phone to actually structure their company and have a track. Do you keep them track the information and the products that they are selling? Do you say how do you make it easier on them?
Yes. So when they use the app for the first time, obviously they get access to the all inventory we do have. But then, based on the history of whatever they have bought from us, we have some artificial intelligence that starts offering to them specific products and sending to them specific offers based again on the history of their purchases. So as of today, we can basically know in advance what are the needs of our existing clients, and we can even prepare in advance whatever they need, because basically they have their own clients who have usually the same habits of consumption. So yes, we have digitalized a traditional world, and we are happy doing that, because we feel that we have today a kind of public service role here in Morocco.
That is great. So basically, do you actually handle just the distribution part of it, or you actually carry your inventory and you choose the which products you would like to have in your inventory? Are you able to make those decisions?
Yeah, it's a good question. When we started as a marketplace, putting in touch the buyers with the sellers. And we realized that doing that was leading to a situation in which the sellers were not necessarily meeting with the SLA of delivering within a time frame of 12 hours. And there is a cash scarcity in the market, in a sense that a shop is keeping the money for a provider. However, in case there is another provider coming before you, he is using the money he has for you. So, for instance, you commit on coming and visiting the shop at 12 p.m. At noon, and for some reason you arrive too late. In the meantime, you will see that the truck of Coca-Cola has come before you and has taken the money from the shop. And then you have to wait until the day after to get paid. So when we saw that we had this big issue of the providers not bringing the product on time to the clients, we've decided to change the business model to a business model in which we do have the stock in our warehouses, that we do deliver ourselves to the clients to make sure that basically we deliver on time. And by shifting from the marketplace to the trading business, we could improve our return rate that was as high as 50% to today less than 0.5%. And we are happy about the situation, because basically we do get paid by our users on a cash on delivery basis. But at the same time, our providers, we have negotiated with them payment terms that allow us to pay them after 45 days. And given that we have 15 days of stock, it do give us 30 days of turnover to finance our growth. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, that is great. So I'm thinking about the connector and the platform over the Foodeshow, and my question goes for: are you looking for new items? Are you looking for new products that you can people can contact you directly and offer the products? Because there's local markets, but there's also international players that would like to place products in Morocco.
Yeah, it's a good question. So first, how did we start? It's a chicken and egg business, in a sense that in order to make sure that the clients want to use you, you need to have all a big inventory in the app. And at the same time, when you go see an FMCG company asking them to add their products in your app. If you don't have any client, they tell you, why would I spend time on putting my products in your app? So we had to find a solution, and the solution was first to go see a local cash and carry store with whom we had a partnership to put all his products in our app. So basically, we started with about 1,000 SKUs, which was great enough to have users love what we were doing. But we didn't have any margin back at that time, and we were burning a lot of cash. So we had to wait until the first users loved what we were doing before going to see FMCG companies directly and telling them, hey, we want a distribution margin and we want you to be in our app. But it took time. At the beginning, we had only the cash and carry products, and then we tried to lower the weights and to raise the weight of the FMCGs. And we are, as of today, in a situation of being half-half. However, we are today looking into bringing new and exclusive and exotic products, because the products you find on Sherry, you can also find them on the cash and carry store, who is today our real competitor. But in order to be, exclusive in a sense, we need more products, and we are currently discussing with the international providers to have their products be on our platform. But then it takes to master the importation, and it's another business that we are currently getting into.
I want to go back to the fact that you're looking for exclusivity, and I can let you know that we have a lot of suppliers on our platform that would be happy to give you exclusivity to get into the Moroccan market. We will discuss that later on. But now my question is, how do you see the future? The pandemic has disrupted a lot of value chains. Food sector was one of the sectors that was a little bit stable than other sectors. And however, the consumer behavior changed, the value changed, the supply chain changed. And how do you see the future as a distributor and a tech entrepreneur?
Yeah. Let's first start as a distributor and then move to the tech entrepreneur. So as a distributor, again, in Morocco, I don't know what's the situation in other countries, but in Morocco, we are still on a conventional way of selling. Basically, we do van selling. So an FMCG uses a distributor. The distributor owns trucks and does distribution with the trucks. So basically, there is a universe of about 100,000 POSs that you have to cover with your trucks, and you go visit every single store twice a month, and this has a lot of pain points. So I think that the next step is to move from this van selling to a pre-order selling, in which you will have your team getting the info of what the clients need. But before all the users will start using an app, you will need to use other tools, such as calling the clients or putting in place a call center. And then when the guys get used to not waiting for the van to come, but to start making the orders through the phone, then you can shift them to becoming autonomous and making the orders by themselves on the phone. This is basically our vision, and this is how we are trying to move the mentalities of our clients from waiting for the truck to come to making phone calls to make orders, or receiving phone calls, to starting using a mobile app. So to me, the future is what I have just described, and the next step is basically in artificial intelligence being able to know in advance what the stores will be needing and sending exactly what the guys need based on the previous purchasing behavior of the store. So this is, to me, what's going to happen in distribution. The normal distributor will end up maybe not dying, because no matter what, we will still need them. Not to do delivery, but more to do merchandising, to explain to the point of sales why they should buy this product and not the other one, to do advertising on sur lieu de vente, and so on. So they will remain, but their job will shift. Those who probably will disappear are the wholesaler, the normal wholesaler, you know, the independent guy who have one truck, who buys from the distributor or from the FMCG company and deliver to the small shops. These guys will end up dying, no, for sure. And obviously the technology will come and disrupt this market. And one day or another, we will have big players such as Amazon or Rakuten, who will end up coming to this region of the world, and who will go see the FMCG companies and tell them, we have already global distribution contracts with you guys in other region of the world, so let's expand it to Morocco, and they will obviously become the leading players in that business, unless there is someone who starts as of today do the necessary to have a good position and put in place some entrance barriers. So this is what basically we are trying to do. So this is the question about distribution. Now the question about as a startup and for technology. So this is a vast and big question to which I could speak for hours.
Sorry about that. We are back, and thank you so much, Ismail, for waiting for us. It's been just an inspiring story. Now, my question is, what would be your advice for people who want to get into the food industry, entrepreneurs across the globe?
Good question. A lot of advice. Maybe, okay, the three main ones. First one is please do a lot of iteration. Start with what you have in mind. Make sure to go in the market, try, test, learn, improve, go back. It's much better than spending too much time doing market analysis, because no matter what, and we are currently living that, the world can change overnight. So spending 6 months of doing analysis could become obsolete overnight. So please go on the market the soonest possible. So this is the first advice. The second is, no matter what, be surrounded by people who will give you motivation. If you can find a partner, find a partner. The most difficult thing for an entrepreneur is la solitude. La solitude de l'entrepreneur is the biggest challenge to overtake. So make sure to have around you people who will keep encouraging you to go further and further. So this is the second advice. And then the third advice is, whenever you can use technology in whatever you do, just do it. You will, today there are more money on the market willing to being invested on entrepreneurs than entrepreneurs being able to handle this money. And VCs are today looking into entrepreneurs who love technology and who could disrupt the market. So whatever you do it and find a way to add some technological thinking and mindset and tool around it. So this was my third advice. I hope you enjoyed the call, and thank you again for having me.
Thank you so much, Ismail, for accepting our invitation. I just want to say that Ismail can be contacted on our next edition. He will be a speaker on our platform. Thank you, Ismail, and have a great day.
You too. Bye.